John, because the New York Yankees
Yes, we are.
made a little signing. Corey Kluber, former two-time Cy Young Award winner, signing a one-year, $11 million deal with the Bronx Bombers. What can you tell us about this particular pact?
Yeah, big day for the Bombers on Friday. They reeled in LeMahieu, $90 million for 6 years, plus Corey Kluber, $11 million for 1 year. Signing won't be official until later this week when he has his physical. Kluber had a showcase last week and obviously went fantastic. Toronto, Boston, I'm hearing a ton of teams were involved. I think the Yankees always had a little advantage there. Eric Cressey, his trainer, also works for the Yankees. So makes sense. He went to the Yankees, two-time Cy Young winner, guy who finished in the top four times. So big move for the Yankees, and they'll have more to come, I think.
I think this all really started with DJ LeMahieu. You mentioned it, John. They signed him, but it was 6 years, $90 million. Everybody went 6 years, 90. But the one statement that stood out to me was he wanted it that way so that they could be able to get more pitching. And this doesn't happen without him being a team player.
Absolutely. Well, I think he was shooting to get about $90 million, and he was willing to go for 6 years, giving them the nice AAV, so it made sense for both sides, and it gives them the opportunity to do more things, and they are working on some more things.
They needed this Kluber signing.
John, when you talk about more things, what are you kind of hinting at? What do you think is on the horizon?
Well, I don't think they'll be able to get Luis Castillo. My understanding is the Reds have said that Castillo is likely to stay in Cincinnati. Yankees did try for Castillo. He would have worked out perfectly for the Yankees because they have a few million left to stay under that cap. And he's making just enough that it would have worked. But unfortunately, they're not going to be able to work out a trade. The Reds, my understanding, has asked for Gleyber Torres. Very understandable. Cincinnati is looking for a shortstop. He would have fit them perfectly, but Yankees and the Reds were not able to work it out. Cincinnati obviously was asking for a lot, and Castillo is one of the best young pitchers in the game, so it appears he will be staying in Cincinnati. They are still talking to Masahiro Tanaka, who obviously was great for the Yankees for 7 years. I think at this point, it looks more likely that he may go back to Japan. We're hearing he has a big offer, perhaps 4 years from Japan. He's only 32 years old, so that does make some sense. My understanding is he is willing to go back to the Yankees, and maybe even for less. I've heard some talk of 2 years. The conversation is about $15 million per year. Again, he would not fit under the threshold number, but the Yankees are talking to him. At this point, I would say it's more likely they do something else. They're looking at the pen as well, and I think Brett Gardner is a possibility for them too. They still would like to bring back Gardner.
He's coming back. He's coming back, and that tendon for Tanaka hasn't fallen off yet. So
if he leaves,
that's one of the most mythical things
I think
ever.
he'd be a fun fit in Anaheim if he were to leave New York and not go back.
Go play with.
With Shohei.
With Shohei.
I think that'd be a good fit.
What are the Reds doing? You get rid of Iglesias, and now you're talking about Castillo. I mean, if those guys are on the market, I'm like, what in the world are they doing? John, we'll keep moving. That's just my point. We'll keep moving.
I'll get you back on the tracks here, John. The runner-up, you kind of alluded to it as it pertains to DJ LeMahieu before he went back to the Yankees, was the Toronto Blue Jays. They're one of the more exciting up-and-coming franchises in the game right now. They have some room to work with, some money to spend and play with. And what are they going to do now? Where do they turn their attention?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto's been in on just about everybody, including Kluber. They were in on him. They were in on Kim, the shortstop, who went to San Diego. And as you referenced, LeMahieu is a guy that they were in on. George Springer is a guy that Toronto would love to have. My understanding is they're offering somewhere around 5 years, maybe $115 million. The Yankees, the Mets are probably in that ballpark as well. My understanding is Springer was looking for about $175 million, so a little bit of a gap. Now, Springer is in a better position than a lot of these top free agents. Obviously, LeMahieu signed, but Springer is a guy who's got at least 2 teams involved. He's a guy who's great in the clubhouse, very clutch. So that's the main focus for Toronto. They're also looking very closely at pitching. Bullpen is their focus. Yates is the guy they're talking about. my understanding he had a little hesitation. I think this is an issue with a few players. Buffalo is a thought that we're not sure whether they're going to play in Buffalo or Toronto at this point. So I think some players are hesitant about that. But Kirby Yates is still a possibility for Toronto. LA also looking at Yates. And Brett Hand is a guy that Toronto is talking about. Hand is talking to the Mets, the Astros, and the Dodgers as well. So Toronto's got a lot of balls in the air. I wouldn't rule out Yates. Springer's a focus. We shall see. They haven't got anybody yet, but I think they're going to end up with getting somebody, probably a pitcher, and we'll see about Springer.
Yeah, I think the challenge for Toronto is one-year deals to guys. Because if I'm trying to put numbers up, and I got to pitch in Buffalo possibly, in that ballpark, I don't know if I'm going there. You know, that's the other thing. So it's going to end up being a multi-year deal to get these guys because the numbers matter. They count.
Oh, I mean, yeah, and you've 115, 175. That is a gap in numbers. You know, the Blue Jays are another team that have been mentioned quite frequently in talks about Trevor Bauer, John. What are the latest in his free agency?
Yeah, this one is unpredictable. Trevor Bauer, obviously one of the top free agents, certainly the top free agent pitcher out there. He's been connected to a bunch of teams. As you referenced, Stephen, Toronto is one of those teams. You know, at this point, we're really not sure where it's headed. My understanding is he'd like to be in Southern California. That's probably not a surprise. We'll see if he denies that or not, but he's all over social media. I've heard that he was looking for $36 to $40 million, 5 to 6 year deal.
I'm also
if
looking
possible.
for 36.
Now, he's open to a lot of things. As he said, he's willing to do a short deal, 2 years. I don't know about 1 year, but he said that he'd consider anything. You know, I've reached out to his agent, Rachel Luba. She always refers me to his YouTube or his Twitter, and his Twitter is going great guns. But in terms of the actual free agency, we're not sure beyond the asking price and the believed to be preference in terms of geography. Other than that, it's kind of a mystery. He's got a mystery market.
You know the interesting thing about this guy too, John, he is the one pitcher that doesn't need spring training. He can drag this thing out all the way. A lot of guys are the type of guy, I need 6 weeks. I got to get ready for opening day. He trains so much, and I believe he will be ready opening day if he didn't have 1 game in spring. And so, to me, that allows him some rope on his negotiations that other guys don't get. That's just my personal thought.
John, quickly before we let you go,
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, one quick follow-up on
I was going to let you
Bauer,
follow
John.
up on that, but Steven cut it off.
I'm the captain now, H. John, with Bauer, you know, the fans are fired up in Anaheim, Bauer to Anaheim, but Mickey Callaway is there, and we know we've read about the past between those two. Is that an issue at all? Have you heard anything with regards to Bauer and Mickey Callaway's relationship and being a potential impediment to him going to the Angels?
Yeah, I'm glad you followed up with the Angels, Captain Nelson. I do think that the Angels make the most sense, and I do not believe that any issue with Callaway, perceived issue, is a real issue. I think that the Angels obviously need pitching. They need to do something big, and that would work. I would say the Yankees, as we know, the threshold is the real issue anyway, but I think the Yankees probably wouldn't or didn't go after Bauer, probably because of his relationship from UCLA with Garrett Cole. That makes sense. They have an ace anyway. They don't have the need like the Angels do. At this point, I think the Angels, you know, I mean, we're guessing now because it's a mystery market, but to me, I think the Angels probably are a favorite here. I could say maybe the Giants, although they've already improved their pitching somewhat with Wood and DeSclafani. I could see them as well, or the Angels. But again, mystery market for Trevor Bauer. I don't think we should have expected anything else from him.
Notifications on the YouTube channel, John. That's what you got to do right now. Set yourself up for it. But thank you for the information here as you're leading the league.